Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over the recent rewards that have been upgraded and added. This was a couple of weeks ago, but I have seen some questions coming in about how it works basically and the kind of characters we're likely to see come into the reward structure that is now in the game. We see these big crates in level ups, in SR, in raid tournament rewards, and it is a massive boost to the amount of S-Class cards that we are now receiving. If we look at the current solo level up, you know the crates I'm talking about. It's the top level crates, as you can see. For coming in 1,000 to 251, you get 2. Then 5 of them between 250 and 51. 10 between 50 and 11. 15 for 10 to 4. 20 for 3 to 2, and rank 1 you get 25. The crate itself has 4 times 100 cards of select characters and then 4 times 60 cards of select characters. This was not the first crate that we ever saw like this. The first time we saw this was, like I said, 2 weeks ago, just at the turn of the year when this was initially introduced. And the first crate looked like this. This is a screenshot from my stream, so the quality is fairly low. But as you can see, Axel and Nor was in there first. Then we had Marcus and Beta in the 100 slot, and then the 60 slot was Mr. Lou and Javi, and then Job and Morgan. We have, of course, since lost Axel and Nor as they have been removed from the crate, and then we have got the remaining 6 characters just sliding to the left. Just sliding to the left. It's going to be the same 6 characters that were in there before, just in the new crate. As we know, here's the new crate, which I've already shown you. But the difference is, of course, Mr. Lou and Javi have now been buffed up to the 100 slot. And this is quite important to note, because this means that if you are someone that still needs the characters in the 100 slot, it is generally always going to be better to go for those characters to get them before they get removed from that crate. So for instance, if you do not have Beta and you're going right now for Morgan, when Beta gets removed from this crate, he's most likely not going to come back around for a while, so it could be hard to come by him. Same can be said for Marcus, Mr. Lou and Javi, as these characters are on the verge of being removed from this crate. So I would prioritize the 100 slot cards over the 60, and obviously the fact that they are going to be sliding to the left potentially again means that those 60 cards could obviously increase in the amount of card output in the future anyway. We have also had 2 new cards introduced. It's going to be Lee and Abraham. So as they slide to the left, 2 new cards are going to be introduced each time. And that's the safe assumption that that's what's going to happen. We'll have Marcus and Beta be removed in the next update. And then again, the remaining 6 characters slide across to the left, and Job and Morgan will be buffed up to the 100 slot. And then lastly, 2 new cards will come into the slot where Lee and Abraham currently sit to finish off the quartet of characters in the 60 slots. Now, I assumed the way the cards were originally going to come in would actually be the chronological order of release. And this is because if we look in the Ascendance Tower, these 8 characters look very familiar. We have Axel and Nor, who were originally the first 2 characters, then Marcus and Beta, then Lou and Javi, and then Job and Morgan. It's exactly the same order as the first crate. However, once we lost Nor and Axel, and the next 2 characters came in, it was going to be Lee, but they actually dodged out on Andrea and brought in Abraham instead. So it is kind of maybe questionable on what characters they're potentially going to be bringing in the future. Could they potentially just go back to Andrea and bring in the Scotsman on the next introduction? Or will they skip out on certain characters based on their power? Because definitely out of all of the characters that have been in here so far, Andrea is the best. I think Lou otherwise is very good, but I can see a very hard counter come in Lou's way soon enough, because he's a very big problem at the moment, and I can see a big counter coming out for him. But if we scroll up, you can see some big characters start to come in. Magna and May would potentially be the characters after the next 2. And then we've got Marge. We've also got Carl, Akira, Callie, some big characters to come in. And I think the potential, especially when you look at the characters in the list here, whether they're going to dodge the characters from events, which they most likely will, but we don't know that yet. They're most likely going to avoid characters like Magna, Marge, and Akira if they're not going to bring Andrea into the crate at all, because they are extremely powerful characters. They are kind of like meta-defining characters right now. Which is, of course, the bit that you're going to be like, well, if they're meta-defining, doesn't that mean we actually need them more than any other character? Well, yes, it does. But it also means that Scopely have much more opportunity to make money from these characters because people will want to buy them more. Whether it be in offers, whether it be part of events, whether it be re-rolling them on the promo wheel. You can get a lot of the current reward crates in a week. Will they be wanting to be giving away 150 crates when Magna's in the 100 slot? Most likely not. But then again, a counter argument to that would be most people who would be finishing the place to get 150 of her crates would already have her once or twice anyway, so there is that as well. Only problem being is that we have had obviously the update to the daily crates, and that is releasing in the order that we should be getting them. As you can see, Job and Morgan are the cards that slid to the left. The introduction of Lee and Abraham is the odd bit. Andrea should have been there. And then we would have had Abraham, Scotsman, and then Magna May. So, again, not sure if it was just a mistake. We'll find out the next introduction of cards. If it's Andrea and Scotsman, they could have just got it in the wrong order. It is definitely a possibility. But it was looking like it was going to be the same introduction the way the daily crates were going. Just a little bit later, if anything. But just a lot more of those cards. They may, however, of course, go back to some older characters, and there are still some very influential older characters here that are very powerful. Particularly down here, we've got like the likes of Tanya, we've got Alpha, Trader. A lot of people have these characters, but them being in the mix wouldn't be too terrible, and Rick as well. So it's unclear. Scopely haven't really said how they're going to be doing the character releases for these crates. But I think most people assume this crate was going to be released as the order of the characters that were released in the game. It does, however, look like it's going to be a 2-week rotation. This was confirmed in the recent calendar blog update. As it says, welcome to our first calendar post of the year. Before we kick off this week's events, we have an announcement to make. Our weekly tournaments will have a new reward structure. Instead of offering you a choice between 2 S-Class fighter cards each week, we're now offering you a choice box, increasing our offering to a choice between 8 different S-Class fighter cards as we've already seen. That will be rotated every 2 weeks instead of every week. We've been listening to your feedback around the challenges when trying to complete your S-Class fighter collections, so we hope to both increase your choice and the time available to complete your collection in one move. We'll continue to reveal the content of that week's tournament choice box in the calendar updates, so don't forget to check back regularly. So this would be the first week of this crate. Then we would have it for one more week, and it does look like the next crate will probably drop on the 1st of February, and then we'd have a better idea of what the sort of characters they want to introduce. The crate does have the added bonus as well. At the 2.5 million and 3 million milestones, you can get 3 more of this crate. So again, it's just adding to the pile of this crate that you can get each week. And you can get a lot of these S-Class card choice boxes. Right now, as you can see on the far left, I still have over 100 from the first 2-week stint that this was in. And I did primarily pick Beta already. I think I got maybe 20 or maybe 30 of his crates selected to get him as an S-Class character. I managed to select him and claim him on my stream last week. Obviously, I was quite a large way of the way there already because he was the character in the Battle Pass. But like I said on my war stream, and we've been talking about, a lot of people have been commenting, the likes of Lou are going to be everywhere very soon. He is in the 100 slot this week. He was in the 60 slot last week. There's going to be 2 Lou's on a lot of teams real quick. And the fact there is not really a meta attack character that cleanses bleed right now, you're having to use ancient characters like Mercer, who doesn't really add much to attack teams at the moment. I can potentially see like a fresh support character coming out for free to play to help with the bleed situation. While S-Class Magna does have a nice turn 1 active where she can obviously get bleed resistance, so you can resist that bleed. You're going to take damage because there is obviously going to be Jesus on all these defense teams too, because of the trauma. When you resist, you're going to take the damage, but also you're going to be only getting that resistance to 3 characters. Magna is not really that widespread at the moment, as much as she has come into the daily crate. She started to come into war crates in the big numbers, 50s and 40s. It's going to be a while until people get their hands on her. We have got a refresh of the season store character in 3 weeks, so there is obviously potential there. We have obviously got a brand new character going to be coming out in the next multi-week event in about 10 days, which is obviously going to replace the Cure event and Amber. So again, another potential character to come out to help with the onslaught of loos that are going to be rolling around right now. Let's see what Scopely has up their sleeves when it comes to combating this monster. But otherwise, I think this crate coming into the tournament rewards is actually extremely good. It's obviously going to be getting a lot of cards into people's hands. That means a lot of characters to work on. Just right now, I think a lot of people are lacking the actual resources to get these characters leveled up. Particularly trainers, from what I'm hearing. Particularly trainers is an issue. Getting XP into these characters is the hardest bit. Me personally, I've got lots of food, pretty good gear, but the trainer situation, I have to manage it extremely well. Otherwise, I'm going to get into a lot of problems real quick. And that means I can't overextend myself in level ups. When I hit 3 million, I just pretty much stick. I can't really go for wins anymore, because if I do win a tournament and bankrupt myself effectively, it could affect my event progress for the next month, and that would mean potentially losing out on a multi-week event S-Class character, which I don't really want to do. So yep, thumbs up on the S-Class crates in the actual tournament rewards, but we definitely need new trainers. Hopefully there's some clarification when it comes to the character introduction as well, whether it was just an error on this crate when it was like avoiding Andrea, or whether they're going to completely dodge certain characters based on their power. We'll have to wait and see if any information comes forward, or we'll have to wait for the next update to this crate to see if Andrea and Scotsman are the next two added. But do tell me which character you are going to be prioritizing. I think I know the answer for a lot of people. Mr. Lou is definitely powerful right now and a very big annoyance to a lot of people when they're coming up against him in wars. But do let me know your thoughts on the crate update in the comments down below and the trainer situation and so forth. But that is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.